Hello and welcome to the Rakyat Times TV News. I'm Mick Hu. According to a BBC report, the Human Rights Watch Asia's Deputy Director, Phil Robertson, has said Khalid, the Malaysia's IGP, patrols the Twitter sphere like a shark in open water. Many lawyers, activists, politicians and students, and even cartoonists who questioned the government's action online were investigated and arrested. And after the May Day rally, many more were arrested. Amongst those, a researcher of Klang's MP, who is also a law student, is being investigated over a tweet. Today, we have JJ Dennis in our studio to tell us his story. Welcome, JJ.
Thank you, Mick. Thank you, Rakyat Times, for the invite. It's good to be on your show.
It's good to have you here. Okay, you were called to Bukit Aman for an investigation over a tweet. Can you tell us more on what happened? And it was on your birthday, right?
Exactly. Well, what happened was, when the GSC rally took place on Friday, the people were getting arrested. Numerous reports came on Twitter saying that 39 people were arrested, 54 people were arrested. So, many of us were very, very unhappy with the reaction of the police for going on against activists, politicians, young people who were there in solidarity with Malaysians. Some people say 20,000, some people say 30,000 people, showing their support against the government's implementation of the GST. So when we saw this show of force from the police, many of us were very disappointed, and that's when I tweeted to the police and PDRM that there is no reason for them to go on mass arrest, because all they want to do is terrorize, and I stand by this statement. They want to terrorize the people of Malaysia by their actions to intimidate people. And that was Friday evening. On Saturday evening, barely 24 hours later, I got a call from one ASP, Chelia. He identified himself as an investigator from Bukit Aman's unit, Siasatan Jenayah D5. And he said, I want to investigate you for a tweet you posted. Could you come and see me on Tuesday? So after discussing with my lawyers, I said, why not? I got nothing to hide. I actually wanted to laugh because police shouldn't be investigating people for tweets. But apparently they have a lot of resources to do that. So I went on Tuesday, as you said, my birthday. I found it quite good. And the police asked me some questions for me to reply what I meant by the tweet. And I answered some of those, but I said other questions which I feel were not relevant, I will answer them in court if they want to charge me. And I'm being investigated under section 505B of the Penal Code. And if they want to charge and convict me, I could be liable to up to 2 years imprisonment. So time will tell where we go.
Okay. Charles San Diego, the Klang MP, has also mentioned that why would the police deem a one-liner from a student a threat big enough to instigate others to go against the state? And he also said that he would expect the police to read your tweet and laugh about it and move on to solving crimes in the country. Instead, they opted to act childishly. Can you refresh us on how altogether how many people have been arrested after the May Day rally?
Well, people who were taken in by the police immediately after the rally or hours after it were 29 people exactly. 29 were taken in, many of them students. 6 of them who were underage, minors, 17 years old. Those were arrested after the rally. And then 4 other persons were called in to present themselves in IPD Dang Wangi, or they will be arrested. So that's what happened.
Why were you involved in all these things? Because according to Charles, you are his researcher and also a law student. How do you get involved in all these things?
Well, I always had a heart for activism from a very young age, right from when I was in school. And that's where I began my activism, because in school it was actually a very interesting story, if I could relate to you. What happened was I was against a very, very racially perspective headmistress, who I later found out was actually a member of the ruling party, UMNO. So she actually had a very big, huge dislike for anyone who is not of the Malay race. And she institutionalized racism in our school, leading many people to actually feel much discontent when they come to school. People were upset. So I had no choice but to gather some people and ask her for a meeting. we need to address this situation because you can't go on in this manner.
How old were you at that time?
I was 18. Yes, I was only 18, but that was what we had to do at the point of time, because if we don't do it, the people after us are going to suffer. So things got bad to worse. I had no choice. I couldn't get any response from her, so I went to the media. It came out in the papers, and then I was very, very close to being expelled when I had no choice but to meet my member of parliament, Charles Santiago. And he actually managed to help me out, and I managed to remain in that school until I got through my Form 6 examinations. So that's how it was. So I started at quite a young age, but I think that's what people should do. Young people should get involved in activism, otherwise you can't change your country.
Good for you. And then, are you aspired to be a politician in the future?
I have not given politics exactly much thought, because the work I do currently, obviously I work with a member of parliament, but also work closely with some non-governmental organizations, both in Malaysia and throughout the region in ASEAN as well. And the work we do covers a number of areas. One covers renewable energy, another one covers migrant workers, and other aspects of trying to promote social democratic values in the Malaysian political system. So I find that work much more constructive at this point in time in Malaysia as compared to politics, which is actually very, very destructive, because our institutional governance are total failure, in my opinion.
Okay. For example, like Ambiga is also a social
Yes.
activist. And oh, by the way, she was also investigated and arrested after the rally.
Yes.
Okay, but she was she was released after the police failed to secure a remand order to detain her and the other activists and politicians further. But the remaining 29 have been remanded for another 3 days. And according to a post on Facebook, an activist, Zakaria Zambri, is still under remand for 6 days already.
Exactly.
Can you tell us more about that?
Well, I find the actions of the police again, my feelings were exactly what I tweeted the other day. It's unreasonable for the police of Malaysia to embark on this sort of investigations against people, because they were there in peace, in solidarity, in support of the Malaysian people to abolish the GST. Because the new tax system is extremely bad. People are suffering, their lives are being affected. So there's no reason why, if you go against the tax system,
6 days. Why
exactly.
6 days?
So there's no. It's just, in my opinion, is bullying tactics by the police, because he is a young boy, an activist, and they're abusing him by keeping him behind when they have no reason to do so. Because to my understanding, the police were there. They were recording statements, apparently. They were videotaping anything. So if you have all the evidence, what's the point of holding back someone like this? There's no reason, just pure intimidation.
And comparatively, right, in another case, IGP elder brother was involved. Okay, remember last time the church incident? About 50 people gathered outside a church in Taman Medan to demand the cross affixed to the building be removed. And the protesters said that the presence of the crosses in a Muslim majority area was a challenge to Islam and could sway the faith of youth in their community. So the church leader was forced to take down the cross. Any updates on this?
Well, what the IGP did in that point shows is a very, very deep conflict of interest, because he knew his brother was implicated in that. And within 24 hours, he came out and said, oh, what he said was not seditious, what he did was not seditious. But after 24 hours of the IGP statement, the Home Minister, Dr. Zahid Hamidi, said, oh, we will investigate him under sedition because it's against the religion to do that, to go against another person's religion. And every person in Malaysia has a guaranteed constitutional right to practice their religion freely. So what the IGP did there is very wrong. And just today, the Bar Council President, Dr. Stephen Thiru, asked the IGP to explain why is it that you have gone on arresting so many GST activists, 33 of them, but you have not done anything for the Taman Medan protesters at all. So that shows he's clearly skewed in the way he's operating, and he is not applying equality of the law towards Malaysians, which is very, very dangerous, I would say.
And in another case, Petaling Jaya Utara MP Tony Phua has also questioned the IGP on why police the tweeter but not question Jolo. There are already police report being made about Jolo's the scandal of 1MDB, where Jolo is involved with the 42 billion debt. Okay, and as of today, months after police reports have been filed, the police has yet to investigate. And Jolo he himself admitted to the international media that the Malaysian authorities have not attempted at all to seek his assistance with the above investigation.
I think the mindset of the police is not to focus on Joe Lau or 1MDB, but to focus on whoever is raising concerns against 1MDB. So that's their focus. So,
although the police report have been made.
Although police reports have been made against Joe Lau, or Joe Low, as you pointed out, their focus is not to apprehend or even speak with Joe Lau to get him to explain what he has done or how he may be involved in it. But they are going after Malaysians, members of parliament, activists, civil society members who are raising concerns and saying, hey, 1MDB might be a big problem, the government should look at it. And even today, the IGP has said that he's going to investigate whoever who released the document under the Official Secrets Act. So that shows you his focus is not to right a wrong, but to prevent people from speaking up. He's against people expressing themselves, which is very, very wrong.
And on BBC report, it's mentioned that BFM radio station journalist Aisha Tajuddin, well, she was threatened with rape and death over a video on Hudud issue. But IGP responded. He said that all parties would be investigated, but no, according to BBC, no report has been made of anyone being arrested or anyone being arrested for the threats, whereas the victim is investigated for blasphemy.
Well, I hope the police have done investigations against people who have threatened Aisha, because no one has the right to threaten someone else's life, no matter what they have said. Everyone has the freedom to express their views, their thoughts, their beliefs, their ideas. And what Aisha did was, to my understanding, a satire video. It was a joke meant to create a bit of humor of a situation which many people can't believe is happening when you want to change the Malaysian criminal justice system. But what the IGP does is instead investigate her and totally discount that whoever is threatening of raping a journalist, a member of the media, for the police not to do anything, to me, is extremely shocking.
Well, the list go on and on. According to the IGP, if his Twitter account is being closed down, there will be 126,000 of police monitoring the social media 24/7. It sounds scary, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Well, I mean, if the police are busy monitoring the social media, who's going to monitor, to help out on crimes?
I think the IGP now, he's behaving like a brute.
Are we going to get you into trouble?
No worries. I stand by what I say, because he is so forceful, and it's all about a battle of perception. He's giving a perception to the public that behaving like a brute, he's getting rewarded from it. Because the moment he arrests people, no one from the ruling government puts him back in line. No one says you should not be doing this, you're abusing the law, because he actually is. He's arresting people non-stop. He wants to police Twitter, but he's not policing the streets, which is his oath as a police officer. Is the main objective is to make sure that the streets of Malaysia, the people of Malaysia, are able to live in a safe environment, and he cannot do that. So in my opinion, the only way for us to move forward is for Khalid Abu Bakar, the Inspector-General of Police, to be removed immediately.
I'll show you one video.
Sure.
Regarding what happened recently, and can you tell us? Okay, according to some reports, the blue color, the people who are wearing blue color T-shirts have been fighting, and the police did not do anything. The blue color, well, according to the reports, those people who are wearing the blue color T-shirts are supporters of the government, UMNO party.
They look to be wearing the shirts.
Okay. Are you familiar with this case?
Yes, I saw this yesterday.
What actually happened?
Well, this happened sometime during midday, in just outside one of the polling centres in Pematang Pau itself. I mean, the video speaks for itself, that there's absolute rough behaviour by people going against the law And the aftermath of this was we had two pictures of one of the persons who was beaten savagely and his head was bleeding. Yet I haven't seen any reports of police apprehending anyone who was there, anyone who may have caused that injury by the person, because he's caused serious harm to someone else outside a polling center. And not only the police, but the election commission should look into this and reprimand whoever's behind this if they're indeed supporters of the UMNO or any other persons. So I think the police should go back to proper policing, community policing, keeping the areas around Malaysians safe and not attacking people.
But maybe he's too busy now. I heard that just now when you were on your way from DAP
Yes.
Headquarters, right?
Yes, I got a call from someone saying that DAP leader and Gelang Patah member of parliament YB Lim Kit Siang is being investigated under the Sedition Act, apparently for a speech he made sometime in June last year concerning the death of Teo Beng Hock. Again, we are into May this year now. I don't find any reason why the police should investigate a member of parliament for doing his job to raise a serious concern, because he has done something which many people have done also, saying that we have to look into the death of Teo Beng Hock very seriously, and not only his death but the death of other people who have died in police custody as well. And the police don't seem to take it of interest. Instead, they go against whoever who is raising concerns like this. And it's a serious stifling of people's expression of ideas, expression of concerns, and members of parliament who have a duty to the public to keep them informed that these things have to be corrected. And the police are totally against this process.
But what can we do to change the situation like this in this country?
Well, there are a couple of things which we can embark on in the short term and maybe the medium term. In the short term, I think we have come to a point where Khalid Abu Bakar can no longer be the police chief. He has brought his actions in the last 6 to 8 months have made many people feel that the police are not working for them but working against them. And his actions, the single actions, have caused many people to lose trust, lose faith in the Malaysian police force. So the only way that people can regain that trust, because people need trust, in order to trust the police, you have to have a new leader. It's like any public institution, any government institution, or any arm of the state. If people lose the ability to think that they have actually going to do their job properly, Khalid Abu Bakar has to leave. That's number one. The second thing is, Prime Minister Najib Razak has to make sure that if he replaces Khalid, he does not replace him with someone equal who thinks alike Khalid. Otherwise, we're going to be back here next time having the same interview and speaking about the same things.
And you get arrested again.
Exactly. So we have to move on from that. Khalid has to move on. Thank you for what he's done. You have destroyed Malaysia enough. It's time to move. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for
No
coming
worries.
to our studio. I hope you and I wouldn't get arrested after this. Okay, and there was the
Okay.
news on Rakyat Times TV. We'll be back again next week.